They hide the truth beneath a mountain of lies. But the fire inside us can't be buried forever.
They pile up falsehoods, burying our cries. One by one we dig where the evidence lies. Nesters in the shadows, piecing every clue, shining light on secrets that they never wanted you to view. Smoke and mirrors crumble under our gaze. We won't back down, we're done with their maze. The ops unravel, media feeding gloom. Kids didn't deserve to die, their story needs room. No proof, no confession, plea deals won't suffice. We're taking back possession of the one thing that's right. Truth phoenix rising from the ashes of their lies. Fireballs ready to drop across the looted skies. We'll lift the veil, ignite the spark of justice bright. Stand case by case and bring the truth to light. Whispers in the corridors, they thought we'd look away, but every hidden thread unravels when we slay their charade. No more spin from their headlines, no more silence cries. We're the voice of those forgotten, watch their empire collide. Truth's a phoenix feather rising in the flames. We'll trace every lead, break their iron chains. Oh, break their iron chains. Rising, watch us light the sky. Truth's the weapon they can never justify. One case at a time, we claim what's ours to fight. Rising up together, set the world alight.
This is just the beginning. The phoenix will never stop rising.
Is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
And what does the state want to hide? Idaho, what are you trying to hide from us? I'm going to talk about a subject today that might not be the best topic of all, but I'm going to show you how it may apply to the Idaho 4. And I want you guys to stay very open-minded with this stream. I promise you, I am trying to cut out the curse words, even the not-so-bad ones. But sometimes this case has me so riled up. Every time I look at this case, something new pops out every single day, and it just won't let me go. If you know what I'm feeling, and you have that feeling, and you just know that you know something's not right, it's not right. So welcome in. Today is, well, I think we made it to Tuesday, right? Oh no, Thursday. That's how my week's been. It's been all crammed into like one day. Thursday, October the 16th, and I am so glad everyone is here. I see some OGs in the house. I'm going to welcome you all in. Hey, Holly, good to see you. No Talkie Before Coffee is back. I love to see you guys every day. This is like our little community. Michelle, welcome in. Les, my trusty admin, along with Amanda. Good to see you both. Donna, Rosa, what a beautiful name. And she welcomes us in. Say hello to one another. Get to know each other. Jody Lee, welcome in. If this is the first time you've been on this stream, drop a 1. I'm just interested because my numbers are going up. And mind you, I've only been on YouTube for a few months. And I am loving just this community of what we see. Dina in the house. Good to see you, Jody. Good to see you. Lulu Bell, you sweet little Lulu Bell. Good to see you too. You've grown to be a very OG here too. I love that name. Okay, Holly, good to see you. I love it here. So do I. I think I'll kind of stay for a little while. You know, there's some crazy stuff going out there in the real world. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about, you know, what's happening in the real world, not just in this case. And this case is real. It's a real case, guys. But I think, and I'm going to do a stream in a couple of days, it's a case within a case, within a case, within a case. And when I say that, I've got receipts to back it up. But, the message today is going to be a little triggering for some. And, if you are a veteran, if you are a wounded warrior, if you are service connected, if you have served the military in any form of fashion, there is some information I want to share with you, just real quick. This is real quick for those who are not. Just tune it out. But if you are, there are programs if your desire is to live on base, especially in times like these. They are unknown, but they have specific base housing at many of the bases around you, and they have to leave that base housing opened for people like you and me that are veterans, that are service connected, that have Purple Hearts. They have a certain amount of BAQ homes that you can move into even as a civilian. So that is always available. If anyone is interested in that, just contact your local base and they can get you all the housing available. With that being said, I do want to preface my stream. The banner is there. We are not here to disparage anyone. We're talking publicly about cases and information. This is our personal interpretation and speculation only. Anyone that leaves comments here is a freedom of speech. They're not looking to slander, defame, or harm any reputation or entity. And all under the constitutional rights that we have, all citizens are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And that doesn't include a plea deal. A plea deal is not an admission of guilt, especially when no proffer has been offered. Now, thank you so much. Hey, Tracy from Bama. Welcome in. I'm a military brat, Dina says. I served under my dad. That is so awesome. That is awesome. And I love your little babies. I love it. Absolutely. And I'm not looking for recognition or kudos for serving the military. I joined the military when I was 17 and, I wanted to see the world and I knew that that was one way that I was going to do it. And then I could get out and go back to college and finish my studies there. And I didn't go back to college and start college until I was a non-traditional student. And I didn't go to a sorority. I didn't join any organizations like that. I was actually a working mom with 3 kids and I went back to college. And it's I'm not looking for thanks, but Tracy, thank you for your son's service. That is probably one of the hardest jobs in the military, in the Navy for sure, especially on a sub. Oh my word. I don't know if I could take close quarters. I did a trip on a ship. It was a USNS. I was very fortunate to do that. Those are like luxury ships compared to real naval ships. So you're welcome. Absolutely. You started school at 50, and I know that there are some non-traditional students in here still furthering their education, which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. So I've been thinking personally myself that I'm going to maybe look into living outside the country. And then this morning when I went to Mexico, I thought maybe not, right? Every single country has their own problems, guys. Every single every single country. In honor of my middle's 40th birthday, you gifted me $20, Tracy. Thank you so much. That is going to the managing of our website. We are almost there. We have a community website that I cannot forget to plug. But first of all, here's my little guitar. 40, that's huge. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Tracy's son. Happy birthday to you. And many, many, many more. Okay, Tracy, tell your son happy freaking birthday wherever he's at. Hopefully he's not in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So I can't sing, but I figured somebody needs to sing. So maybe you can call him up and say, Phoenix sang happy 40th birthday, and you can sing it to him. So, one thing I want to say is I thought about living outside the country, right? Totally. I mean, drop a one if you've ever thought about living outside this country. And then go to another country. Now, I've been to the Philippines, I've been to Japan, I've been to Guam, I've been to Singapore, I've been to Mexico, I've been to a little tiny island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. I'm trying to think of where else I went. Oh, we went to Korea. So if you start thinking about how bad America is, go to other countries. And thankfully, I was young when I went to other countries and I got to see the type of life they live. And it just made me be so much more grateful and thankful for living here in the United States. If you think that we're bad, no, we're not bad at all. So, especially if you're in Germany or overseas, yeah, Australia is a dream destination. I mean, for some people, they want to go to Italy, Canada. I've been to Canada. Absolutely. I've been to Alaska. It's still part of the United States, but still. So let me do this. I just want to give a shout out to an amazing individual that follows our channel. And you guys are going to poop a golden chicken egg when I tell you this. Now, I got this message and I thought this was just the best message I've ever received. I'm going to play it for you real quick. I'm going to read it to you. And then I got a message right after this one. And I thought, what the heck is going on today? Is there like the universe trying to tell me something today? I was just floored. Now, Heather Nealon, this was just a little while ago. Phoenix, I work at an alternative education high school where I teach ELA. Most of my kids here are very smart, contrarian thinkers who have recently become obsessed with this case. And she is talking about the Idaho 4 case. Our high school is called Garden City Achieve in Garden City, Kansas. We are turning my creative writing class into a journalism class where we report the truth. I am using your channel for guidance, and the kids love it. We are also creating a student newsletter, and one of the sections will be exclusively for reporting on cases like Brian Koberger. I can't wait to share. Keep wearing the white hat. Y'all, I was blown away when I got this message. And I was like, when I started my stream, when I came to YouTube from the TikTok streets, I thought, you know what? If I can only reach one person that sees the truth, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. And you can do this in almost any case, not just this national, full blown, whoa, crazy case that we are watching. But I just basically appreciate you, Heather. And a big shout out to you. You are welcome on my stream anytime. And then the kids can actually hear you talk about why it's so important to have people like us find and dig for the truth. I think it's very important. Mainstream media, I think they're shaking in their boots right now because there are citizen reporters, citizen investigators like myself that we have no formal background in this, but we want the truth. And I'm going to keep going. Keep going 100%. They are out to shut you up and shut you down, but we're just going to shut them down. How about that one? So I want to play one more thing for you. I'm going to play it on my audio and hopefully you can hear this. This is a message I got today. Hold on a minute. I have to put my speaker on, I think. Let me see if it works.
I realize that you're in the army. I don't know very much about the states, but I am so proud of you. That doesn't matter what country you're from or where you're from. You're the one person that is so positive, and you have drawn me to you. The only reason why I haven't been able to get to YouTube and I lost my.
So she goes on to say something else, but I wanted you to hear that because I was blown away when I received that message. This person lives in another country, and I thought, wow, that was so awesome for her to send me a voice message on TikTok. And she's been following me for a little while. But I was so remorsed. And I was like, wow, one other person heard me today. So that must be the universe saying, keep going. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't listen to the haters. I'm listening for truth. And I'm sharing what I find for truth. So let's get this ball on the road. Or let's get the show on the road. All right. So real quick, I want to ask one person a question, and the first person to hit the number 3 and put it in the chat, you're going to get the question. So you have to put a number 3. Whoever is first to the game to put a 3, you're getting a question of the day. Okay, 1-1. You win. You are on the ball. 1-1. Here's your question. If you could have coffee with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why? 1-1 is the winner of the day. If you could have coffee with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why? That is a great question. And I will tell you, personally, well, 1-1's writing their answer. I would say I would love to have coffee with my grandmother. She died when I was 3, very special and close to my heart. She treated me as if I was her own, and I looked like her. But why? She was an amazing woman. I see about pictures, what she did, how she raised 9 kids, what she did in her community, what she did in Avon. And I would have to say she inspired me to do businesses and other things through my mom, my mom is a very entrepreneurial individual. And I would have to say it'd be my grandmother. And other people are saying that, let me see, hold on. Late but here. Hey, I'm glad you're here. My brother who passed. Yeah. I think probably a lot of people would say that. I think, yeah. Having kids alone is winning. I hear you. Okay, 1-1's answer today is I would say to have 5 minutes back to see my mom again. She died in 2013, December, of pancreatic cancer. I am so sorry. Not only is that the worst type to pass on from, it's the most horrible one to repair. I'd love to tell her about her grandchildren. She would have loved them so much. Well, 1-1, I believe in the spirit, and I believe she is looking down and she is smiling upon you and her grandchildren. And that love radiates. I just know that. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. And that was such a beautiful answer. Absolutely beautiful. And Les, yeah, it would be your daughter. Just to have that 30-minute coffee time, right? 30-minute. And I hear you. I so hear you. I recognize Heather's name. She's extremely sharp. I'm not a stalker. What a sweet message. Oh, yeah, Heather is amazing. I've seen her before, and for her to send me that message was absolutely amazing. So let's do this. Okay. Amanda B, in my latest post from like 2 hours ago, the underwear that Phoenix spotted was spoken about a namer to Gunderson on the 13th between 2 and 3 p.m. He noticed it, but the cops didn't. So Gunderson is a cop, and if he noticed it, they should have took the clothes into evidence. I mean, being so close to the home, I mean, look at all the people who walked right by the underwear all that time, and then 3 years, no one's spotting the underwear in the road, and then I'm watching videos, and I see underwear in the road, and I'm thinking, this is a crime scene. The crime scene extended all the way back to the back parking lot. Why didn't it extend to the beginning of the house and everything be blocked off? There could have been evidence all around those 3 homes on 1122 King Road. Now I'm fired up. So let's get going. What is this all about? College girls not for sale? Yeah, it would probably be national security if this was going on college campuses all around the world. Don't you think? I mean, think about it. It happens. And I don't call it the T word. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's the T word. No, guys, it's as subtle as coercion. It is an epidemic, a coercion, control, predatory manipulation, campus exploitation, modern slavery, forced exploitation, targeted abuse, student vulnerability networks, however you want to call it. However you want to call it. And what in the world is happening in Moscow, Idaho that needed to be covered up? I mean, I could think of a few things, but let's start here. I'm trying to figure out if I should show you one video or another. Let's do this. Let me show you this video first, and then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty. We'll get into Steve's video. I promise you, you're going to get a big fill today. I'm going to make myself a little smaller. I'm going to make this larger for you. And let's listen to this specific portion of Brian Koberger on sentencing day. And then we're going to, this includes my topic, guys. Let's listen.
State can argue.
And I'll let you know when the trigger warning comes, okay?
Just as a housekeeping matter to start, there will be the issue of restitution. That is, the documentation is being gathered, and we ask the court would defer that for 30 days so we can present it in an orderly fashion and make sure it's comprehensive for everyone.
The objection to leaving restitution open in 60 days. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's necessary and appropriate to share for everyone here, including the court, the background that brings us in front of Your Honor today for these proceedings. As the record reflects, and as everybody in this courtroom knows, the defendant has pleaded guilty to all 5 counts charged in the indictment. Under oath before Your Honor, he has admitted that the charges against him are true. He has reassured the court that he has not been coerced or threatened to make those admissions. And Your Honor did an extraordinary job in taking the pleas back on July 2nd. We appreciate the court's discipline and insight. The defendant has also waived appeal on the multitude of rulings from this court and Your Honor's predecessor in Latah County on dozens, literally dozens of motions seeking to dismiss the case, seeking to control or limit evidence, seeking to offer evidence that would not be appropriate. And we appreciate the court's consistent rulings based on the law, based on the facts. As Your Honor will recall, on June 18th, it's just really not that long ago, we appeared before this court for arguments on what became the defendant's final motions to this court. Motion where they wanted to offer evidence suggesting that other people were responsible for the defendant's actions, and the motion seeking essentially an indefinite continuance of the trial. It was readily apparent to all of us in the courtroom from Your Honor's comments that those motions were not going to be granted. So we returned to Moscow and continued with what we had been working on for months in preparation for trial. We had no qualms about going to trial if trial was what was necessary and appropriate. The following week after we were in court, we were approached by the defense with an inquiry about a possible plea. And I can tell the court this is the first suggestion ever that there was any consideration, because indeed the defense had maintained from the beginning that Mr. Kohberger, the defendant, was factually innocent. It's clear that the reality of the evidence and the case that had been investigated and prepared and that we were ready to present in court became a reality. Our reaction, among other things, was to reach out to all the families. And in fact, later that week, on Thursday and Friday of that last week of June, we met with representatives by teams, virtual meetings, with representatives of all the families. And we talked about the status of the case and the upcoming trial and things that related to the trial. And we also let them know that there had been an inquiry about whether there might be an offer for a plea. And we asked the family members for their thoughts and feelings. And they were candid. And they have been candid since, and we respect that. And we understand, recognize, and acknowledge that there was a difference of opinion among representatives of the different families. We understand that. One of the challenges of this case, one of the unique things about this case is we have multiple victims, each unique unto themselves, their families and friends unique unto themselves, and all of them entitled to their opinions, all of them entitled to their thoughts. Over the following weekend, our prosecution team, very skilled attorneys who were personally as well as professionally deeply invested in this case, met. And we talked. And
okay, so he points to his team sitting at the table. And I want to explain who this team was that was in place. Now, let me begin with Josh Hurwitz. He was appointed as the state's attorney by Biden. Yes, President Biden. He lives in Boise. He was the state's attorney for the District of Idaho, the top federal law enforcement position in the state. He was the big wig. Okay? And it's very customary for political appointees to depart at the start of a new presidential administration. So what happened back then? Well, he was out, right? If a Republican was in, then he was out. So Hurwitz thanked President Biden for nominating him and Senators Jim Rich and Mike Crapo for their support during the nomination and confirmation process. This was back in the day. And he is one of the biggest effort to dismantle the cartel-connected networks responsible for bringing dangerous drugs into Idaho. If you don't know, Idaho is typically a red state, but a lot of these cities within Idaho are becoming very blue. There's a little internal struggle there, guys. I know I lived in outside of Boise for, I would say, 10, 11 years, 11-ish. And Josh Hurwitz, I remember watching the news almost every night and seeing this guy's plastered face all over because he has worked with the DEA, the Idaho Drug Office of Policy. He is a big wig in getting Project Safe Neighborhoods initiated. And when you understand this background of this team that was sent to be on a murder trial, you have to start asking, why did they bring this guy into this case? What is going on behind the scenes that they would have to use this case to perhaps, in my humble alleged opinion, cover up what happened in Moscow, Idaho? So they bring this important guy on, and that's who the leadership of the team was. And you just heard Bill Thompson say they couldn't have done this, well, in a press conference after, they couldn't have done this without the help of Josh Hurwitz. Okay? And he was also the special assistant U.S. attorney in Coeur d'Alene branch. So you don't send high wig people to places that don't need support. They send these big wigs into places that need to be cleaned up. This is the cleanup guy. Okay? Now you have to remember what I said a few days ago. In my humble opinion, 1122 King Road was an opportunity house. I'm not saying it was a trap house or a money house or a drug house. I am saying, in my own words, it was an opportunity house. Keep that in mind. Oh, there's a big drug problem in Idaho. Big time. Hopefully it has been cleaned up. But Josh's background is to clean up these communities and get these illegal activities off and out of the streets. And especially in those trafficking, the pills, the fent that they make on their own, that is very extremely deadly, because that's what's been happening all around the country. But not only was Josh's role was to stop that trafficking, but also in partnership with online exploitation of children. So now we know who's sitting on the team of experts at the table. Now you understand a little bit how more deeper this gets into the parts of Idaho, especially rural areas, hours away from a federal courthouse, not having any eyes and ears on what's going in the back roads of Idaho. I'm just giving you a picture here. He works with many state and federal partners. You can go back and read his whole CV if you want. But he also emphasized on hate crimes, civil rights. Now, if he's having a background in getting the rugs off the street and getting the fentanyl off the street and getting the online exploitation of children, and then you throw in a little bit of sprinkled in, I feel like I'm baking a cake here, sprinkle in a little bit of fraud with money, hate crimes, and civil rights, well, you got it all right there in the heart of Moscow, Idaho, folks. Right at the University of Idaho. Bam. This wasn't just about one thing. This was about many things. And remember what I told you on yesterday's stream is, hey, Good Old Boy Network, I got a problem out here. Do you know a guy? Yeah, I know a guy. Let me call a guy at ISP. They'll help us out. And then that ISP guy calls a guy at FBI allegedly and says, we got a problem down here. We got to figure a way out. Do you have any other operations going on that we can piggyback off of? Yeah, I've got two, man. Two things are happening out there. What do you got for me? Allegedly, in my humble opinion, this could possibly happen. It happens all around the country. They just happen to blow this up on national news and share this problem because they're having a lot of problems out there that needs the little TLC, in my humble opinion. So they bring Hurwitz on, okay? We see him on video. He's there in the background. Then he's got his prosecuting team, Ashley Jennings, and then the other guy out there that I don't even know his name, but he's in every courtroom. Okay. Don't know this guy out here. I don't know who that is. And then we have Bill Thompson. He's on the team. But see, there was somebody else on the team that was in the background until a few weeks ago. And I told you something wasn't right with these two individuals. And I thought, well, let's just dig into these individuals and see who else is on the prosecuting team. And I uncovered that the defense was asking a question 55, and that was the magic question, by the way. Ingrid Beatty. And if you know anything about Ingrid Beatty, which I will tell you, she is actually a special district attorney, and she works with, oh, wait, 1 second. 1 second. Let me just move back a minute. I forgot to say this about Josh Hurwitz, and this is important. Here we go. See this word right here? See this word right here, this big word? Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organizations, RICO. Not only, and this is what I'm going to say. This is a total disclaimer. If you are not a contrarian thinker, this may not be the stream for you, but I research and I bring receipts. Now, let me tell you something that Josh did. He was involved in the first civil division and then the criminal division. He primarily focused on financial and environmental crimes. He led the investigation into the Aryan Knights and also was charging with RICO. Okay, so does the Aryan Knights come into play here? Possibly, yes. Possibly if they can prove it. But obviously he's involved with wire fraud and all this other stuff, okay? So is this possible? Absolutely. Absolutely. And he has a pretty large team. Very large team. So that is Josh. But who else is on Josh's side in the courtroom enlisted? Well, ICAC. It's the Task Force with Internet Crimes and Children. So if there is a case that we know is previously pending because they have not released Koberger's laptop, cell phones, or anything else, they have still not released those individual items out of the court because there is another case, an investigation pending. Okay? Pending. So there is an additional case pending. And when you look at these two individuals, who is Ingrid and who is Ashley, or hold on a minute. Let me pull this up. Deputy General. She is actually the one that was appointed for Chad Daybell and the prosecution team. She led in that team too. Okay. And when you look at this, she has prosecuted some of these cases out in Canyon County. And these are, I mean, this was a serious crime, guys. She was on the team that they charged an attorney, a Caldwell attorney. Caldwell's a little town right outside of Nampa, Idaho, right on the border of Meridian and Boise. A Caldwell attorney was sentenced to 10 years for child sexual exploitation crimes, and she was the one that prosecuted this. So why would their two names be on a document in regards to question 55 for the jury? Were they also part of this team silently in the background, and that is why they've not released any information on Koberger's laptop or his phone or anything of that nature? All right. Don't know, but we're going to find out. So now you know what I know. Let's finish listening to what Bill Thompson says, and then you're going to get it.
The decision was reached. Well, to start with, were there to be any sort of plea offer or discussion, there's only one possibility. And that would be for the defendant to plead guilty straight up to all charges.
Now, they wanted him to plead guilty to all 5 charges. But listen to what he says next very closely.
There would be no bargaining about counts. There would be no bargaining about reduced sentences. And so we made the proposal to the defense that if the defendant was willing to plead guilty up front to all 5 counts as charged and waive appeal of the court's myriad decisions during the past 2.5+ years.
Now, if you know anything about the court repository, you are a super genius here, okay? If you know anything about the pleadings that were filed in this case, give yourself a pat on the back because you are paying close attention. I like facts. I like to see what was done in writing. I don't read headlines. I research myself. And if something doesn't feel right, it's not right. So I went to the repository because Bill Thompson said a key word I heard, and it was very interesting to me. And I have never seen, and I'm searching, I am looking for any reduced, and I know that I've seen it before. There was a document. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was reduced. It was to strike something. Hold on. Strike the death penalty, witness. Where is it? I should have pulled it up before, but sometimes my live turns into a live dig. Where is it? They were looking to reduce charges. They were looking to reduce charges. The defense wanted to have some charges stricken. Where is it? And if I owe it to you, I'll get it to you. They were asking to reduce charges because something about to reduce 2 murder charges. And I thought to myself, why would the defense ask to reduce 2 murder charges? Only just 2. If he was factually innocent. And so I went and I looked at the document. Obviously, it was sealed, but they did ask to reduce charges and ask for the special investigation just recently, right before they were supposed to go to trial. So it was not, in my humble opinion, looking good for the prosecution. I will find this document. I will find it, believe me. No, that's not it. It's in here. I swear I've seen it. I read it before. Strike the death penalty, defendant's exhibit, motion. Motion to strike rebuttal. Where are you? Motions in limine. Was it before or after the Franks? Well, the defense was asking to strike 2 of the murder charges. And I kept saying, why would they do that? Why would they ask? There's got to be something else behind this. Okay. And what happened is this is what Bill Thompson said happened out of these discussions. Let's finish watching this. And he just gave it away. He said it would basically be embarrassing for either party, either the state and or Brian Koberger. It would be devastating and embarrassing. What could be so devastating and embarrassing that, remember, in this case, there was a court order, literally a court order to do what? Protect the university at all cost. Protect the university. Let's listen again.
In this case met. And we talked, and the decision was reached. Well, to start with, were there to be any sort of plea offer or discussion, there's only one possibility. And that would be for the defendant to plead guilty straight up to all charges. There would be no bargaining about counts. There would be no bargaining about reduced sentences. And so we made the proposal to the defense.
We made the proposal to the defense. The prosecution made the proposal to the defense. Did you guys just hear that out of Bill Thompson's mouth? The prosecution, here it is.
Very skilled attorneys who were personally as well as professionally deeply invested in this case met. And we talked, and the decision was reached. Well, to start with, were there to be any sort of plea offer or discussion, there's only one possibility. And that would be for the defendant to plead guilty straight up to all charges. There would be no bargaining about counts. There would be no bargaining about reduced sentences. And so we made the proposal to the defense that if the defendant was willing to plead guilty up front to all 5 counts as charged and waive appeal of the court's myriad decisions during the past 2.5+ years on all these motions that would have consumed years, if not decades.
But how in the world did we get here? How in the world did we get to this level? Let's watch.
Olivia Gonsalves, Haley's
Shit.
sister.
Hold on. I got the wrong one, guys. Where are we at? Shoot. Hold on. That one's next. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Where are you, Steve? Hold on. Will I find this video real quick? I apologize. I'm trying to type as fast as I can and get this video. I thought I had it queued up, but I was wrong. I made a boo-boo, folks. All right, here we go. Get ready. How did we even get here?
Today, we are here to finish what you started.
Woo, that's a big statement right out the gate, folks. Did you catch this? Did you catch this?
Today, we are here to finish what you started.
What did Kohberger start? If he is factually innocent, no connection, no stalking, didn't even know them, wasn't even in the house because Bill Thompson said they couldn't even put him in the house. What did Kohberger start in that community that broke up this community? Listen to what he says.
Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families.
Pick the wrong families. Did he interrupt business? Did he interrupt anybody's big business?
Wrong state.
Wrong state? I think we just stumbled upon some shady bull crap or bullshit in the state of Idaho, folks. Is that even possible?
The wrong community.
Look at these prosecuting attorneys. Look at Josh Hurwitz's face, guys.
You tried to break our community apart.
You tried to break up my business. Replace that with business and listen to what you hear.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. You. I just learned from these lead investigators. They worked in an investigation and actually worked with Pennsylvania police officers and the federal FBI. You united everyone. Everyone was united after you. None of us are divided. None of us are divided. We are united in our disgust and our love for these children. Today you have no name. Because when this all started, we all came together and we said, let's stop even talking about his name and just use initials. So even the media just calls you BK. That's all you are. That's all you are. Looking back when the police officers knocked on my door.
He was so angry. He was so furious in court. Yes, his daughter may have passed away, but this is not about a death of a child. In my humble opinion, this is something greater.
My child told me what happened to Maddie Mae. I don't think he was even out of the driveway before my kids turned around, looked at me and said, what do we do, Dad?
Why is he so obsessed with Maddie Mae?
I told him, you get to work.
Get to work. Your daughter just passed away and her best friend, and you're telling your kids to get to work? What? I'm shocked. But if you guys remember the FBI statistics that I have shared so many times, y'all, you're more likely to be killed by an associate or a friend. An associate, a business partner, or a friend more than you are by your family. Do you understand that?
You get your ass to work. And we started calling, we started texting, we started emailing. And you know what? Within hours, we had your white car on the camera. We knew from the very beginning we had you. Police officers tell us within minutes they had your DNA, like a calling card.
If they had Koberger's DNA within minutes, within days, why did they wait all that time to put a PCA together and arrest him? If it was me and we knew who it was and whose DNA allegedly was on the knife sheath, but ignore all the other unknown male DNA, and they knew it was him, why not arrest him ASAP? Because he didn't resist extradition when they went out and got him in Pennsylvania. He didn't resist anything. He stayed silent the entire time. I think, in my humble opinion, Koberger busted them. Koberger was brought in to find out what was going on in these campuses. In my humble opinion, he's either FBI, he's either an informant, or he's just a smart individual at catching criminals. And some criminals got caught, in my humble opinion, allegedly. Think about the reframing of this case.
You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master degree, you're a joke. Complete joke. But we took this disaster. We could. We put everything online. We took our kids, we took our images, videos, their photos, the girls' pranks, Ethan singing. We put it out there, we shared it with the world.
The girls' pranks and Ethan's singings. They put it out there to the world. So those audios that were released are fake, or are they real? Is it AI or is it real? Why would he say that and admit that? Is the 1330 and the 1320 Linda Lane fake too? Is it dubbed over? We can't see their mouths either on any of the body cams. Was this a fake ploy behind the real parallel investigation? Is any of this possible?
Shared it with the world.
I'll play it again. Listen to what he says about
We
this.
put it out there, we shared it with the world. Girls' pranks, Ethan singing.
The girls' pranks and Ethan singing. The girls' pranks were on TikTok. Ethan singing was on some audio.
Ethan singing. We put it out there, we shared it with the world. And the world united. And all they ended up, when they talked about this case, is they talked about Kaylee Jade, Maddie Mae, Xana, and Ethan. Everything with these people, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, we shared that with our community. Then we shared it with our state. We shared it with the country, and eventually we shared it with the world. The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you.
Well, now he's got that wrong. We're all watching because he's factually innocent. And until someone can give us proof, don't we deserve proof as we the people? Don't we deserve some justice and some proof here? If they're going to say somebody is guilty without a trial, even though he took a plea deal, that's not an admission of guilt. That's not an admission of guilt. So who is, oh yeah, I see him. I see him, Les, and I knew this was going to come today. I knew that. But what kind of business was being ran out of there? Now, I've talked about this before. Allegedly, an opportunity house.
Cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind, more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we've all started. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to Penn.
So you pick the wrong family. The way he says family reminds me of something like the Godfather would say, in my humble opinion, allegedly, and all that great stuff. So when you start listening to this, when she comes up, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I can't stand this. Yeah, I think we're having sound issues problems again on YouTube today too. So I don't think I'm muted. How is that? Can you hear me now? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. But essentially, she calls Koberger a pedo. And my mind immediately went back to the task at hand for ICAC. Now, if you know anything about this group in Idaho, they are phenomenal. The task force, Internet Crimes Against Children. And with this 2 individuals in the court repository record on file and their names mentioned, made me think, why would the court share these 2 names? It was sealed and now unsealed. So what was the big deal about that? Well, obviously there's more, because they investigated Kaylee. They investigated Kaylee just weeks after her unaliving, and most of the searches were on Kaylee. Kaylee's financials, Kaylee's bank account, several bank accounts, guys. Kaylee's email, King Girls with an Z. They wanted to know all the financials behind Kaylee. What was Kaylee doing? What was Kaylee doing with all the money and all the bank accounts? Well, this may play a little bit into it, so buckle up. This is your trigger warning. College campuses trafficking girls is very common. See, it's not just trafficking them, it's coercion, it's manipulation, it's a way to exploit for labor, like babysitting, and sometimes recruitment through dating apps, parties, job offers. Think about it. Survivors today report traffickers use control like finances, emotional, drugs, rather than just physical chains. The Polaris Project is amazing for college campuses, guys. The common red flags are a lot of the things that we've seen in this case. Sponsored parties, football games, possibly laundering money, possibly drug sales, possibly online crime. Online crime, like selling pictures. This wasn't about OnlyFans, guys. This was something much deeper than this. Something way more sinister. And if someone told Adam about everything, would that make you change your mind what this case may have always been about? Hiding the issues, secrecy, the back deals. I mean, if you think about it, someone did share with us that there was a babysitting service that Kaylee did that involved professional professors or coaches. And come on, let's be honest. Those guys want bubbly, blonde, beautiful. They don't want nannies that look like Hagatha. Think about it. Was there something else going on behind the scenes? Is that even possible? Remember, I question the unthinkable. Is that even a thing? I want to take a moment real quick. I don't want to get too far deep into the woods. But I will say it is very possible that this may have been involved in this case by the individuals that we see that were assigned to this case. That is the only connection that I have found, that this could possibly be a case within a case. It's not that unbelievable. Not at all. I want to watch this real quick before we go. I know a lot of people got to jump off, so feel free to go, but I want to watch this interview with Steve on Banfield. I know it's not the greatest one I'd like to watch, but I do want to watch this show real quick because I have something to say about his interview.
Pleas and his life sentences marked the end of his warped and sadistic story. You're only half right. They ended his real life story, and we can all be thankful for that. But his lifetime story is just beginning. Lifetime, of course, is the cable TV network that famously gave its ripped from the headlines treatment to the Jodi Arias case and to the Amanda Knox case and to the Menendez brothers case. And now they've turned their attention to the Idaho student murders and the monster who committed them. If you are really plugged in, you will know that the role of the murderer, Bryan Kohberger, will be played by the actor Miles Mary, who also appeared in the Lifetime epic Girl in the Shed, the kidnapping of Abby Hernandez. And whether you can or cannot imagine what it must be like for the families of these 4 students to imagine the worst part of their lives will now be a Lifetime movie, it is no doubt surreal when the directors start calling action. So earlier today, I had a conversation about all of this with Steve and Olivia Gonsalves, the father and sister of Kaylee Gonsalves, who was one of the 4 students murdered in that house at 1122 King Road. And I'm going to share that conversation with you in just a moment. But I also want to call your attention to an interesting little piece of information that just emerged in one of the court documents, a real court document, part of the slow motion release of all those orders and evidence that have been kept under seal for almost 3 years, the gag order. It seems that Bryan Kohberger agreed to his plea deal, something that wiped out a public trial, wiped it off the map, less than 1 week after learning that his sister Amanda had been added to the prosecution's witness list. Are those two things unrelated? Or was the thought of his big sister on the witness stand in his murder trial more than even a cold-blooded killer could stomach? I asked Steve and Olivia about that and more. Have a listen to our conversation.
Steve, Olivia, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let me start with you, Steve. You know, it seems we get a drib and a drab of information every week or two. I'm just wondering how you're processing all of it.
Hi, you think it's over and then something comes out, yeah, you hear about, your phone starts blowing up and all this new information comes out and you just kind of start searching just like everyone else. And it's shocking every time because you think that it's over, but it just keeps on hitting you.
And Olivia, no one knows the shoes you're walking in, right? No one can ever understand what you guys are going through. Everybody processes differently too. Do you find yourself immediately wanting to know what the latest, ungagged information is? Or and you've got 4 children, you're a busy woman.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get the information as fast as I can. The day that the gag order was lifted, we asked if we could have everything that we could have up front so that we could go through it on our own time, so that we could have time to process that. So yeah, I mean, we're on pins and needles just like everyone else, waiting for that next, drop of information.
What was the reason for them not giving you everything? Did they say they needed to redact it all first? Was there a logical reason?
I think it's mainly the redactions, as well as the prosecutor's office isn't the custodian of many of these documents, right? They're actually owned by Moscow Police Department or the Idaho Police Department. And so the documents that they own, it's my understanding that they're actually held up with the court process, which is going through that very, very lengthy sealing, unsealing, redaction process. That's my understanding.
Okay, so let me explain something to you about what she just said. The order that was released by Judge Hippler, this was the actual order that he signed and put into place in regards to maintaining sealed status. He goes down and he specifies number 11, the states right here, the states amended list, right? And down at the footnote, I'm going to read you the footnote that Brian Enton wasn't going to read you either. In the footnote, it says, very plain as day, very, very clear right here. In addition to the reasons set forth in 11, number 11 was the witness list, okay, that was stated. There it is. I don't know why that did. Anyways, it says the vast majority of individuals on this list include some of the defendant's relatives, did not agree to voluntarily appear as mitigation witness for the defense, and in fact sought to distance themselves from any association with the defendant. Consequently, the fact that they were named on defendant's mitigation witness list should not result in reputational harm significant enough to outweigh the public's right to access. That is a huge statement right there from Judge Hippler. Let's listen to what else she says during the interview. Where did it go? Where did you go? Here it is.
So as things, begin to drop out, this latest piece of information has sort of come out of nowhere, and it's that a Lifetime movie has been announced. They've hired an actor, and I think the working title is just The Idaho Murders, but it's one of the ripped from the headlines series. Steve, tell me your thoughts. I almost feel like it was inevitable that this was going to happen, but again, nobody walks in your shoes.
It's different, a little bit different because we're used to documentaries, but yeah, this is like a movie, and it's shocking to know that somebody feels the confidence that they can just tell your story about your child. And Maddie, her best friend, the same people that you interacted with every day, picking them up from school, taking them to parties and taking them to birthday parties and things. And to have somebody else just tell this story, it doesn't seem real. It seems like somebody's just reaching into your house and stealing your life and putting it on the screen.
As new information comes out about the actual case, there's this information about the dramatic version of the case, Lifetime plans to, drop a movie in their Ripped from the Headlines series. They've even hired the lead actor. No one walks in your shoes again, and I'm just wondering what it's like for you to hear that news.
Yeah, it's really angering, honestly, from my side. My sisters aren't, they're not a headline, they're not a Lifetime movie. And I get incredibly frustrated at the scripted aspect of it, right? We've experienced this in real time, and it's very, very much far from something that is specifically made for an entertainment purpose. I think that that's the part that's the hardest for me to get over.
Did they reach out to your family?
But is it okay for them to do it? Are they more upset that Lifetime isn't going to keep them involved and that perhaps they're not making any money off of this adventure? This adventure. It is an adventure per se. But are they upset that Lifetime isn't going to pay them? Is that the possibility?
And ask for you to be consultants or part of the process?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we have not been. When you saw the article is when we saw the article. So we didn't have any inside information on that.
Sounds like somebody's a little upset.
I guess the flip side of that is, would you have wanted to be, just to ensure as much accuracy in your sister's story as possible?
I personally don't want to be a part of anything that's strictly for an entertainment purpose. So while I would have appreciated them reaching out for what that stands for, I wouldn't have taken part in something that is a scripted, fictional, dramatic reenactment of our and my sister's real life.
Any chance you would consider legal action? Some people actually sue for...
What legal action? What? Why would they take legal action?
Life rights, if they're not paying for life rights.
I think we.
What life rights?
You want to take that, Olivia?
Yeah, I really don't know. Honestly, like, we're not, very sue happy people, and the benefit.
Wait, they hired an attorney from the get-go because they were going to sue. That's the intention. You hire an attorney to sue if any of your rights have been violated or you have been wrongfully done.
Of that, I don't really know, because it's almost like whack-a-mole. Like you get one down and it, four others pop up, and it's almost like, where's that line drawn? At this point, we've had how many documentaries, we've had how many books, we've had how many articles. So, while we don't agree with it, I don't know if it's something that we would ever, take legal action over.
Yeah. The other side of the coin is the truth.
How can they even sue? I mean, if somebody's making a movie, they have enough information out there on the internet and enough to go and they have enough to make a movie. Believe me, there's enough content to make a movie. Now, because they didn't ask them, they don't have the right to sue anyone. As long as they don't put them in a bad light, they don't libel or slander or defame them, anybody can make a book or a movie. This is crazy.
Story details, you don't even know them all yet, and they keep dropping, like that video that I don't know why I found it so jaw-dropping when I saw the video of the killer hours after his crime, wandering about his day into Costco, out of Costco.
Does a killer really just wander into Costco, go about his day, get coffee, eat donuts? Really? Do killers actually do this type of thing? No, they usually hide for the hills. They usually run and they live off their cash, not cards. They ditch their cars. They steal other cars. This doesn't sound like a modern day, everyday criminologist that lost his way.
Costco into Albertsons, and I was immediately brought to you, and I wondered how you digested that. Steve, what was it like when you saw that?
Creepy to see that guy, the way he walks and moves.
The guy who walks and moves creepy and slow and uncoordinated did not kill these 4 kids, in my humble opinion. So uncoordinated, he can barely even stand while rubbing his own hands.
Oops, it's just unnatural to my eyes. I could see why a lot of girls could pick up on that vibe very quickly. Yeah, it's disturbing to know that that was just afterwards, and you want to analyze every action that he did before and after, and yeah, it's hard. It's hard to watch that.
Olivia, I think so many people on the outside of your story are so perplexed by it. And that doesn't even come close to what I imagine your family is feeling. That
Dude's so creepy, he can't even stand right.
How confused you are by how someone could do this. And maybe that's why we're so voracious for every ounce of new detail that might lend us something. And I just wonder, are we getting any further with every little bit that's dropped, even the video, even being able to see him in action? Are we getting closer to understanding this monster?
I don't think that we're ever going to get closer to why, because I think that the why only makes sense in a psychopathic mind. So I don't want to understand his why personally, because that would make me more like him. But as far as, that human need to, want to satisfy something in yourself that provides comfort, I get it. And personally, I think it's because of the gag order and how restrictive it was and how long lasting it was, that essentially they starved everyone out for information. So now every little piece that comes out is, nitpicked and analyzed and overanalyzed over and over and over, attempting to satisfy that starvation that we've all had for so long.
Because we're still looking for the truth. We're not buying the narrative that was sold. I mean, if you feel me, you feel me. You know what I'm telling you, right? You know that you know, because when I look at a document like this, I think to myself, why would they be Googling King's girls? King girls. Why would they be Googling all of Kaylee's business accounts, money accounts? Why would they be doing that? Is it because there's something larger at play here? Maybe a private business? Maybe girls doing things and being coerced that we see behind the image of campus freedom? That maybe there's not freedom at all and the opportunity is much darker and that few really talk about? Is that hidden coercion exposes how students, especially young women, are groomed, manipulated, and controlled through trust or romance or false promises? This isn't just about trafficking or hidden coercion in college. This is more about power, silence, the exploitation hidden in everyday college life. You saw that on their social media accounts. Is this where the predators operate in our college campuses along the country with several side hustles? I mean, yes, we can save lives if you know what to see, if you know what to realize and recognize and see those red flags. Before you take your daughter to college, make sure you have a talk with them about these things that happen so they don't get tangled in things like this. Because I'm sure there were some innocent girls being exposed to this. I mean, look at the people who moved out of 1122 and were like relieved that they weren't there anymore. This ended when the house was torn down. Whatever was going on in that house, that opportunity house, it ended. That curse was released. Think about it. And when you put your head on your pillow tonight, thank God this was not your child. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Make sure you hit your thumbs up button on the way out. I appreciate that. And you know what? Wait till you see the next stream. You know, I always bring you the deets. Please be careful with your children, male or female, sending them to any college. Because I think we just got a cover up case within a case. Be well.
They hide the truth beneath a mountain of lies. But the fire inside us can't be buried forever.
They pile up falsehoods, burying our cries. One by one we dig where the evidence lies. Nesters in the shadows, piecing every clue. Shining light on secrets that they never wanted you to view. Smoke and mirrors crumble under our gaze. We won't back down, we're done with their maze. The ops unravel, media feeding gloom. Kids didn't deserve to die, their story needs room. No proof, no confession, plea deals won't suffice. We're taking back possession of the one thing that's right. Truth hinged, rising from the ashes of their lies. Fireballs ready to drop across the looted skies. We'll lift the veil, ignite the spark of justice bright. Stand case by case and bring the truth to light. Whispers in the corridors, they thought we'd look away, but every hidden thread unravels when we slay their charade. No more spin from their headlines, no more silence cries. We're the voice of those forgotten, watch their empire collide. Truth's a phoenix feather rising in the flames. We'll trace every lead, break their iron chains. Oh, break their iron chains. Phoenix rising, watch us light the sky. Truth's the weapon they can never justify. One case at a time, we claim what's ours to fight. Rising up together, set the world alight.
This is just the beginning. The Phoenix will never stop rising.